Hello everyone. Now we are going to see a most important data mining algorithm, that is classification. Classification, in this particular video, we're going to see what are the basic concepts behind this classification. Then we are going to learn the classifiers like decision tree, Bayesian classification, and rule-based classification. And at the end, we're going to see which classifier would be based and how can we improve the accuracy of the classifier. So before moving to this, we need to understand the difference between supervised and unsupervised learning. So the supervised learning is the one where the training data is available and is accompanied by the labels. Let's say, for example, we have a database where records are being shown with the attributes, name, let's say ID, their salary, their designation, and so on. So by label, I mean that I know before the processing of the data or before applying the algorithm, I know on which particular attribute I have to classify my data. Let's say for an example, we have a class of students where every student will have their own pointers. Okay. So let's say that now we maintain a database having the student name, his or her marks in a particular subject. Let's say there are 5 subjects, so there are marks of 5 subjects. And at the end, we have a column specifying the pointer. Now, if the task given to you is to classify a particular student is or he is falling within the class having the pointer greater than 7.5 or the class having the pointer less than 7.5. So now, as we are aware about the column pointer, we can simply classify a particular record or a student into a class. Let's say the one who is having greater than 7.5 pointers would be placed into that class, and the one whose pointer are less than 7.5 would be placed on the class pointer less than 7.5. Now here we were aware about all the information. We're also aware about the class or the label into which we need to classify a particular record. Okay, so that is why it's saying that it's a supervised learning. So we basically train the data over here based on the observations. We'll see an example what is mean by the training and how is classification working over there. So the labels are known and based on that the data is being classified. Whereas in case of unsupervised learning, the example or the algo given is of the clustering. Let's say for an example, uh, nowadays as we are all in pandemic situation, let's say that there is a COVID patient found in a particular building, let's say in a particular wing. Now, specifically as per the government rules, I may be wrong over here. Let's assume that the area which is falling within the circumstances of 500 meter, that particular area would be called as an containment zone. Okay, so let's say that a particular patient is found in building A, the area which is around 500 meter from that particular building A would be called as a containment zone. So we were not aware about the information previously ki which building or where we'll find the COVID patient, and that particular uh, building or area would be called as a containment zone. Okay, so we were unaware of the class labels or simply the attributes of the training data, and based on a particular task given, we have just tried to do the clustering over there. We'll see an example of clustering. We'll learn about clustering in the next video. So basically, there is supervised and unsupervised learning. Classification is the technique which falls under the supervised learning. We'll see how and why. Similarly, clustering is a technique which falls under unsupervised learning. So what is classification basically? So classification is basically you're trying to predict the categorical class labels. Categorical, or simply we'll say where the names, attributes are given as the names. Let's, for example, we have hair color. So it can be red, brown, black. So here the attribute values are the names of something. I'll say name of a student or something like that. So which could be discrete or nominal. So here what we are doing is based on a particular database columns, or here we are referring it as an attributes or dimensions or the class labels. Okay, class label is the one into which you want to classify. Okay, let's say for a last example, I have told you the pointer. Pointer was our, the attribute pointer was our class label, because based on this particular attribute or the label, we are going to classify whether the particular student falls into a class greater than 7.5 or falls into the class less than 7.5. Okay, so classification, we are going to build a model which will classify the incoming record into one of the class label. Okay, so this classifies the data, or basically constructing a model based on training set and the values or the class labels into classifying attribute, and then it uses a classifying the new data. And the applications of this classification, let's say credit or loan approval. So based on a particular record of a particular person, whether a loan can be approved or not. Okay, either yes or no. So we are here aware about whether the loan would be approved, the class would be the loan approved or loan not approved. Okay, similarly in the medical field, the parameters related to the tumors are given, and then you can classify whether the tumor is cancerous or whether it is just a beginning. Okay, then it can be also used for the fraud detection. So based on the transaction, whether the transaction is fraudulent or not, and so on, there are many applications to this. So what we basically do in the classification is there are two important steps which are followed. The very first step is to construct the model, that is to construct the classifier. Okay, based on this, now this would be called as a training phase. Now what we do into training, that we need to understand. So here a classifier is built describing a set of the predetermined classes. So you will have a database, you will be aware about all the attributes or all the dimensions of that particular database, and based on the task which is provided to you, one of the attribute would be classified into the class label. Once you have this class label, what are the possible values of this class label that we are going to see? And based on that, you will get the class labels. We'll see an example of this ahead. So here, each tuple or sample, that is each record, okay, is assumed to belong to a predefined class. So you'll already have a database specifying its class level. Let's say, for example, you have this particular database where the attributes or the dimensions are given as name, rank, years, and tenure. Okay. So these are the attributes or the dimensions. Now, what would be the class label? So let's say that the task given to you is based on a particular record provided, you need to classify the data, or you need to predict whether the record or the particular person would be tenured or not. Okay, so the attribute name is already provided. So you know that now this tenured attribute, this dimension is our class label now. Okay, so once you know the class label, what are the possible values for it? The possible values for this would be yes and no. You can see it over here. So you will have two class labels now. Tenured is equal to yes and tenured is equal to no. Because whichever record is provided to you, it would be classified into one of these two classes. It would be either tenured is equal to yes, or it would be tenured is equal to no. Simple. So that is how we get the class label. Okay. Now, the set of tuples used for the model construction is the training set. So let's say that we have this particular database provided. Out of this, certain records or the certain samples would be used for training data. Not all would be used. Okay. So based on that, you will train a data set. So let's say that if the name is Mike and the rank provided is assistant professor and he has spent 3 years, then the tenured is equal to no. Okay. And then the second record says that if the rank is assistant professor and the years spent are 7, then the tenured is yes. Third record says that if the rank is professor and even then the years spent are less, then to the tenured is equal to yes. This record is giving us the same information what our second sample has given. Okay. Fifth record is telling us if the rank is assistant professor and years are 6, then also it is not tenured. I mean the class label is tenured is equal to no. And so on. What is this telling us? We are going to train database in the sense that what we get over here is if the rank is assistant professor and the years are 7, then and only then the class label would be tenured is equal to yes. If it is less than 7, then the tenured would be no. And if the rank is processor and number of years spent is even less, then too the tenured is equal to yes. I mean, if the rank is professor, whatever number of years you get, the class label would be tenured is equal to yes. So these are the rules that would be set into this particular training set, and hence we can have a classification algorithm saying that if the rank is assistant professor and the years spent are, let's say, greater than or equal to 7, then tenured is equal to yes. And if it is less than 7, then tenured is equal to no. If the rank is professor, then tenured is equal to yes, whatever is the number of years spent. So we'll set these rules into this classifier. Based on that, we can simply classify the data set, data record. Okay. So now if we get, if the rank is professor or the years is greater than 6, okay, then the tenured is equal to yes. This is how we have trained our data set. Okay. And we are going to build a model which will be further used for the classification. So what we have done into training is this. The second important step into the classification is model usage. That is nothing but you are actually classifying the data which will be given to you. Okay. Now the samples which we have used over there, or the observations or the records which you have used over there, they will form a training set. Okay. And the one which is not being used, or let's say the one which is not provided earlier and is given now to you, would be called as a test set. Okay. So this test set is provided, and for this test set you are going to predict the one of the class label. So for an example, now we have built a constructor. Okay. Now this is the test set provided to you. Now this samples or the records, they are different than that of this, because this was our testing data, sorry, training data, okay, which we have used for the training. So these are not present into the test data. So let's say that now the name is Tom and the rank is assistant professor and years is equal to 2. So this has been provided to us. Okay. So we have made the rule which says that either rank should be professor or year should be greater than 6. Then and only then the tenured is equal to yes. Otherwise it would be no. So this would be classified into tenured is equal to no. Right? If associate professor rank is provided and years is 7, what is going to happen? We have seen that if years is equal to 6, it should be greater than, I mean, it should be yes. Okay. But here in the test set is given as no. Let's say that. Okay. So what is going to happen is, for our classifier, okay, when you provide this particular sample, the class label predicted would be yes, because the years are greater than 7. So what has happened over here is, though we have provided the test data according to the training that we have provided to the classifier, the predicted output is yes, that is tenured is equal to yes, whereas in the test set the predicted output is no. So this is how the prediction can be wrong sometimes, and we'll further see the methods to how to improve the accuracy of your classifier. Okay, so this is just an example how your model can be used for the prediction purpose. Let's say that you have got a data saying that Jeff is the name and the rank is professor and the years spent are 4. So as we have made the rule saying that if the rank is professor, the tenured is should be equal to yes. So we have classified or we have predicted the class label as tenured is equal to yes. This is how basic classification would work. Now, when we talk about classification, there are different types of classifiers available. Out of this, 3 are being listed over here, which are more popular. First is decision tree classifier. Second is Bayesian classifier. And third is rule-based classifier. Okay. So these are the 3 algos based on which the different classifiers would be built. Okay. Let's say each technique one by one in brief. So what's a decision tree? So decision tree, it's a flowchart like tree structure where each non-leaf node or the term which are non-terminal node, they denote an attribute. Okay. And each branch represents an outcome of the test, and each leaf that is a terminal node holds a class label. Okay. So let's see an example. So we have this particular database having total 5 attributes or the dimensions: age, income, student, credit rating, and bias computer. Let's say that we have been provided with the task that we have to classify a particular record into bias computer is equal to yes or bias computer is equal to no. So class labels are already provided. So how can we make a decision tree based on this? Now, as you can see that out of this, you have to pick one of the important attribute based on which the decisions can be made. Let's say it's age, and we'll form a root node out of this. Now, what are the possible values for this age? The possible values for the age are less than equal to 30, 31 to 40, and greater than 40. So we have made these 3 branches. So as a root node, you are listing an attribute. Okay, and the possible values you are writing it onto the branches. Okay, so what will happen if the value of age is less than equal to 30? So let's pick up one more important attribute after the age, which will say that if age is less than equal to 30 and student is equal to no, it simply says that bias computer is equal to no. We are just analyzing it over here. There is a method how a decision tree is built. We are just seeing an example over here. Okay, so wherever you are getting it as if the age is less than equal to 30 and student is equal to no, then the bias computer is equal to yes. If the age is less than equal to 30 and the student is yes, in both the cases you are getting the bias computer is equal to yes. So you have made this classification. Okay, now what is this branch telling us? See, age is the attribute. This is another attribute or the dimension which we have used. On the branches we are writing the possible values. Okay, similarly the possible values of student were no and yes, as you can see in the particular database. Okay, and then you have class label bias computer is equal to yes and bias computer is equal to no, that we are listing as the leaf nodes. These are the leaf nodes, the one who is having no children. Okay, these are the non-terminal or non-leaf nodes, the one which will have certain children. Okay, so on. So what will happen to the group if age is 31 to 40? If age is falling within 31 to 40, whatever are the possible values for income, student, and credit rating bias computed is equal to yes. We are not making the decision based on this particular sample. You have to see all the samples of 31 to 40. So as we are seeing, this income is high, here it is low, here it is yes, here it is no, here it is fair, here it is excellent. Still we are getting the class label as yes. Okay, so whatever are the values of this income, student, and credit rating, we are going to get the class label as vice computer is equal to yes. So we are saying that if the value of age is 31 to 40, the class label would be predicted as yes. And similarly, we'll do for age greater than 40. Okay, so this is how a decision tree is done. Now, how this would be used to classify? Let's say we get a particular record saying that the age is less than equal to 30 and student is equal to yes. So we'll move ahead for this particular decision tree. We'll say that the age is less than equal to 30. So this particular branch would be followed and the value of the student attribute is yes. So the class label predicted would be yes. This is how decision tree would work. Here I have basically provided how it goes ahead, but we are not going to see this in that detail. Let's go ahead for the next classifier. And the next classifier that is bias classification method or Bayesian classification. So this is a statistical classifier which is based on the probabilities. Okay, and it is based on the Bayes theorem and it goes like this. So this talks about the conditional probability. Okay, so probability of hypothesis based on an attribute X, that is a conditional probability, goes ahead with this particular formula. Okay, so this is like, I'll explain this with an example which will be much more helpful for us. So same database we have now, okay, and they have provided the data to be classified. So the test data is given to us. Okay, so how we go ahead with this? So depending on the formula, let's say we are finding out the probability of the class labels first. So as we know that the class labels here are Bayes computer is equal to yes and Bayes computer is equal to no. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to count the number of samples which are present over there. And let's say that there are 14 counts. So the 14 samples which are present over here, out of which how many are yes and how many are no, that we are going to calculate. So let's say that out of the 14 samples, 9 says that Bayes computer is equal to yes. So we've calculated that probability. And out of 14 samples, 5 are saying that the Bayes computer is equal to no. So we calculated that probability also. So probability based on a hypothesis, now conditional probability based on this particular data to be classified. They have given as age is less than equal to 30. So the first attribute, for the first attribute, again, this probability would vary. I mean, for age less than equal to 30, the first class label is Bayes computer is equal to yes. Then for probability of age less than equal to 30, Bayes computer is equal to no. So for every attribute which is listed into the test set. Okay. So next is income is equal to medium with Bayes computer is equal to yes, and income is equal to medium with Bayes computer is equal to no. Student is equal to yes with Bayes computer is equal to yes, and student is equal to yes with Bayes computer is equal to no. We're not going for the other values of this particular attributes. Whichever is listed into the test set, we'll go for that only. Credit rating is equal to fair with Bayes computer is equal to yes, and credit rating is equal to fair with Bayes computer is equal to no. So we'll go ahead and calculate this particular attributes. Now we'll see that Bayes computer is equal to yes. There are total 9 records. So we have listed this 9, out of which only 2 are saying that valid for age is less than 30 and Bayes computer is equal to yes. Let's look at the training data set now. You have to look for the Bayes computer is equal to yes and age is less than equal to 30. So Bayes computer is equal to yes and age is less than equal to 30 and Bayes computer is equal to yes and age is less than. So there are total 2 samples available. So that is why we are writing it as 2 out of 9. Okay. Similarly, Bayes computer is equal to no, there are total 5 records available. Out of this 5, only 3 are specifying for age less than equal to 30. So if calculated this particular probabilities, then let's combine all the attributes now. Okay, so our X is now age is less than equal to 30, income is medium, and student is equal to yes, and credit rating is fair. Now, this entire attribute for Bayes computer is equal to yes, and for Bayes computer is equal to no. So, how we are going to get it? We are just going to multiply the probabilities. Okay, for Bayes computer is equal to yes, we have for the this 4 particular attributes, we have 4 values. So, 0.222 into this yes, 0.444 into this yes, into this yes. Okay, so for Bayes computer is equal to no. First value into this second value into third into fourth. So this is how we have got the probabilities now. Now, as this is totally dependent on the theorem, okay, as it says that the probability, conditional probability. So we have got this conditional probability into the probability of the class label. Okay, so this probability for yes into probability of Bayes computer is equal to yes. We are not going to multiply the same value with Bayes computer is equal to no. It's not required. Okay, so we're just going to multiply the probability of this particular attribute, okay, into this. So you'll get some value. Okay, similarly, no into no has to be multiplied. So you're going to get certain values. Okay, now the one having the higher probability would be predicted. So here the higher probability is for the class Bayes computer is equal to yes. So we'll simply say that X belongs to the class Bayes computer is equal to yes. This is how Bayesian classifier works, purely mathematical and one of the simplest. Okay. Then there is a third classification technique or the algorithm which is based on the roots. It goes like this. You have to represent the knowledge in the form of if-then rule. So it says that if age is equal to youth and student is equal to yes, then Bayes computer is equal to yes. You're simply forming a rule as we have seen during the very first example of the classification. Whatever are the possible values of the attributes provided, based on that you're going to form the rules. Now, whichever rule we are going to refer, for every rule, let's say x determines y, in that case x would be called as, say for example here, if age is youth and student is equal to yes, this becomes our x. Okay, so this is called as rule antecedent or precondition. Okay, then this determines Bayes computer is equal to yes, so the part after then would be called as rule consequent. Okay, so based on, let's say you have a particular decision tree, so how can we make a rule? So we'll say that if age is less than equal to 30 and student is equal to no, then Bayes computer is equal to no. Here they have simply converted this particular values into a nominal value. This was a numerical value. Less than equal to 30, they're talking it as or taking it as young. Okay, 31 to 40, this would be mid-age, and greater than 40, this would be old. There is no need or there is no necessity of doing this thing unless and until it is required. Okay, so the second rule which we can form is if age is less than equal to 30 and student is yes, then Bayes computer is equal to yes. Okay, so this was our second rule. So for every branch of the tree, you are going to make a rule. As you can see, there are 5 branches, there would be 5 rules. The third rule would be if the age is 31 to 40, that is mid-age, Bayes computer would be yes. If age is greater than 40 and credit rating is excellent, Bayes computer would be no. If age is greater than 40, credit rating is equal to fair, then Bayes computer is equal to yes. So this is a simple way of extracting the rules from the decision tree, and these rules can be further used for the classification purpose. Okay, so we have learned the three classifiers now, or three algorithms for classification. The very first is decision tree, second is Bayesian classification, and the third is rule-based classification. Now let's say you have been given with an example and you need to decide now which classification algo is best or which is giving you a more accurate output. That we need to evaluate it. Okay, I'm skipping certain slides to directly move to that particular part. Okay, so that is we are trying to evaluate the model. Okay, so how can we measure the accuracy? Which classifier is more accurate? Now there are situations like for the same uh, problem provided to you, a particular classifier could work best. It's not for all, but sometimes this particular classifier is better than that particular classifier. Okay, so these are the different methods just to add up certain knowledge into you. Holdout method, cross validation, bootstrap. These are the different methods which are available to estimate the classifier's accuracy. How accurate is your classifier? And this can be used to compare the classifier, which is better. Okay, we need to understand first of all what is accuracy, which is very important. Okay, so accuracy or the recognition rate is given by the formula TP plus TN divided by P plus N, where TP is true positive, TN is true negative, P is positive, and N is negative. So let's understand this accuracy first. Okay, so true positive refer to the positive tuples that were correctly labeled by the classifier. Let TP with the number of true positive. We have seen an example into the classification example where into the test data, they have predicted the class label as no, but according to the classifier which we have built, the predicted class label was yes. Okay, so there can be different possibilities where your particular record would be classified. Either the classification would be correct or it would be misplaced into some other class label, right? So basically, when you have a different class label, you generally classified into either yes or no. Okay, so the true positive are the ones where they are correctly labeled by the classifier. So the classification is proper. Okay, true negatives, I mean the positives are classified into positive. Okay, true negative are the ones, they are the negative tuples which were correctly labeled by the classifier. So the negatives are being classified into negative. True positive and true negative is the correct classification. Okay, whereas false positive, this term indicates that these are the negative tuples which were incorrectly labeled as the positive. So the one which should be gone into the no class label is being predicted into the yes class label. Okay, so they are the false positives. Then false negatives. The positive tuples which are mislabeled or misclassified into negative. So the one having the class label yes, that should be classified into the yes, but they are misclassified into no. So your record can be either it could be a true positive, true negative, it could be false positive and false negative. We are aiming for true positives and true negatives to get the good number so that the model is working fine. Okay, so this is an example. So the matrix which is used to handle this thing is called as a confusion matrix, where you have an actual class and then the predicted class. Okay, and this is true positive, false false negatives, false positive, and true negatives. So let's say an example. Okay, so we had an data where suppose we have class labels as vice computer is equal to yes and vice computer is equal to no. So we would be making a matrix structure like vice computer yes, vice computer no as the columns, Bayes computer yes and Bayes computer no as the rows. Okay. The one which is being listed over here indicates that for Bayes computer is equal to yes. The actual class is Bayes computer is equal to yes. And the predicted class is Bayes computer is equal to yes. The values are 6954. So these are our true positives. Getting it? Now, for the Bayes computer class no and for predicted class is Bayes computer no. So these are our true negatives. Okay. Now this number Bayes computer is equal to yes. Positive are incorrectly classified into the negative. So they are our false negative. Okay. And this is a slot where Bayes computer is equal to no. That is negatives are incorrectly classified into positives. So these are our false positive. So together what do we get is these are all the positive attributes. So these are P, okay, and these are all the negative attributes. So these are N. So P plus N, positive plus negative, we've totally give us all the class, I mean number of class levels or the sample. So there are total 10,000 records that we understand, out of which 7,000 are positive and 3,000 are negative. Okay. And out of this, the 7366 samples are being classified into Bayes computer is equal to yes. And 2634 are the samples which are being classified into Bayes computer is equal to no. So we'll say that into Bayes computer is equal to yes. These are the correctly classified and these are misclassified. And for Bayes computer is equal to no, these are the correctly classified and these are the misclassified attributes. So based on these numbers, we can say that whether they are correctly classified or not. So what is the formula given for the accuracy? The accuracy is it says that it's true positive plus true negative divided by P plus N. So this would be 6954 plus 2588 divided by 7,000 plus 3,000, that is 10,000. So this will give us the accuracy. So similar to that of the accuracy, the one where the accuracy is high, that particular model or the classifier is better. Okay, so like accuracy, there are various measures which can be used to evaluate. Okay, so there can be sensitivity, specificity, and so on. The various examples are given over here for the precision, recall, and so on. Okay, now this is how we can actually evaluate the classifier, which is better. And to improve the accuracy, okay, there are also methods available for improving the accuracy. That is also provided over here, but will not be covered into this particular SDP. And that's it for today.